Return on investment is a simple concept, but it might not always be so easy to calculate. To oversimplify it, you just take the profit that a machine makes in a year and divide it by what the machine costs. What's so hard about that? Well, profit can take many shapes. Eliminated downtime like setups and changeovers, increased throughput, increased capacity, decreased cycle times. These are all profitable. But things like machine installation and maintenance, consumables, repairs, loans, electrical consumption, these all cost money. You have to consider all of these factors when you start looking at your ROI. You just decided to start your own machine shop, or you've decided to expand your existing shop. You're about to buy a machine, but you're a little conflicted about what you want to buy. What machine will pay for itself fastest? Where do you even start? Should you buy a little 3-axis mill for 40 grand, or do you go for the $1.2 million 5-axis with pallet pool? If you're just getting started, there are a ton of variables. Usually, you don't want to just jump right into a $1 million machine unless you have your own product or you have guaranteed work that requires an investment like that. You start small, and as you pay off your first machine or first couple of machines, you buy another and keep building. You want to pick the most versatile machine you can, with the biggest work envelope you can afford, with the options you will actually use. Ideally, as you gain a reputation for quality and on-time delivery, more and more work comes your way and you keep scaling your business. If you already have an established business, it's usually pretty easy to identify what you need. You look at the parts that could be a lot more profitable if machined using a more efficient process, or you look at parts that you currently no bid that you could be bidding on if you had the right equipment. For example, maybe you're making a lot of round parts on your mill, and if you had a lathe, you can make those same parts in half the time. Or maybe you're making round parts that have a lot of milling, and you would benefit from a live tooling lathe. Maybe you have a bunch of parts with tight tolerance GD&T and take multiple setups, and you could solve a lot of the issues with a 5-axis, eliminating setups and creating features that are true to themselves and the datums. The best time to buy a new machine is when you currently have more work than you can handle and you're leaving money on the table, when you have customers that would love to give you new work but you don't have the capability or capacity, or when your ROI on a new machine would be 20% or better. If you stand to make $100,000 in profit per year and the machine was $1 million, that's a 10% ROI. Probably not a good idea to buy it. It'll take you a decade to break even. Here are a few cases I've seen where decisions were made that had a profound effect on ROI. We had a customer that wanted us to machine a bunch of graphite parts. Because this machine was only going to be used for graphite, we decided that we wouldn't add through coolant or through coolant plumbing to this machine. Well, that graphite job ended up falling through, and nearly every other part we made in that shop had deep hole drilling that required through coolant. This resulted in that machine having a ton of downtime, and adding the option after the fact was cost prohibitive. The lesson here was not to buy a machine that can only be used for one specific purpose, even if you think that's all the machine will ever be used for. Versatility is key. At another shop, we were tooling up for a huge project, and we bought a large multitasking lathe. The building we were in was pretty old, and when we asked maintenance how thick the foundation was, they guessed 2 feet. The machine manufacturer said we needed at least a 36-inch slab minimum, but the decision was made that 2 feet was enough. After making parts for a few weeks, we started to have a ton of runout issues, and it came to light that our foundation had shifted under half of the machine. The machine was moved, and it ended up that it was only a 6-inch foundation that we had sat this machine on. This resulted in construction crews with saws and jackhammers working next to my desk for several weeks, and a lot of additional cost and downtime in construction to pour the new 36-inch slab. Not to mention how unpleasant it was for me to have all this happening right next to my desk. It was almost as bad as listening to Donnie explain something.
342 and had one, what's called their TISA software. I mean, sorry, fine gear, we're going to divide by
At another shop, we bought 3 machines for a specific customer that only had plastic parts, and about 6 months after we bought the machines, that customer went bankrupt, and we had to scramble to find work for these machines that were all low-powered with high-speed spindles. At this same shop, we estimated that we would save around 500 hours per year in setup time if we bought our first 5-axis mill, and would reduce scrap on some tight tolerance parts that we were constantly having issues with. We actually ended up saving closer to 1,000 hours per year in setup, hundreds of hours in cycle time thanks to the faster spindle, and over 50 grand in scrap per year. Within 3 years, we bought another identical machine. Now, there are also special cases out there, and you might be one of them. Take Titan himself, for example. He had so much confidence in his machining abilities that he knew that no matter how many machines he was able to buy, he would keep them running and profitable 24/7. And because he had cultivated such a strong mental attitude, when he told his potential customers that he'd be able to cut their cost per part in half and still be profitable, he was able to get 25 customers to sign on the dotted line before he ever had a single machine. This led to starting a shop with not 1 or 2 machines, but 4. And because he was so far ahead of his competition with high-speed machining, ROI was barely even a blip on the radar. In the end, if you're buying CNC machines, you have to have a certain comfort level when it comes to risk. But by taking a very close look at ROI, you're really just doing your best to set yourself up for future success rather than potentially going out of business. Buy the machine that you actually need and not the machine you want. Buy the options that make sense, and make sure that the machine is versatile enough that you can use it later for more than just the initial reason you're buying it. Doing a little extra homework in the beginning can save you a whole lot of heartache down the road. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.